you know, that's why I was saying a simple truth. Economic strength is at the backbone of national strength. So we need to have a strong economy to have a strong country. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, being lazy or doing things as we've been doing and being over-dependent on the US is one of the biggest challenges we have.
It started with a silence. No outrage, no slogans, no theatrics. Just a calm, measured voice from a Canadian minister who decided she'd had enough of the noise. When Melanie Joly stepped up to the podium at the Canadian Club in Toronto, no one expected her to trend worldwide within hours. But what she said, and how she said it, hit harder than 1,000 hashtags. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't point fingers. Yet somehow, she delivered a blow so precise, it echoed from Ottawa to Washington to Trump's own Truth Social feed. This wasn't just another political speech. It was a turning point. A reminder that in an era of shouting, sometimes quiet confidence can make the loudest noise. So what exactly did Joly say that rattled America's most vocal politician and left Canadians applauding with pride? Let's break it down, because this moment wasn't just viral. It was historic.
Well, you know, there's a lot of things we can't control, and that's definitely what, you know, you never know what will be read on Truth Social. You just don't know.
Yeah.
But when things are being said by US officials, you have to take them for their word. And you have to take that very seriously.
Joly began with a truth that too many ignore. A nation is only as strong as its economy. No fireworks, no blame game, just a clear statement that hit home. She reminded everyone that national power isn't built on slogans, it's built on stability. We need a strong economy to have a strong country, she said. Simple, but profound. Then came the sting. She called out Canada's overdependence on the United States. For decades, she said, Canada's economy has been tied too tightly to its southern neighbors' decisions. When Washington sways, Ottawa shakes. When U.S. politics swings, Canadian workers feel the aftershock. But Joly didn't sound bitter. She sounded ready. This imbalance isn't destiny, she explained. It's a design flaw. And that's when the crowd started listening differently. Because for the first time in years, someone wasn't just describing the problem, they were promising to fix it.
The line that lit up the internet came almost offhand, tucked inside a discussion about unpredictability. You never know what will be read on Truth Social, Joly said with a half smile. Laughter rippled through the audience, but behind the humor was a subtle jab. She never named Donald Trump, but everyone knew. That sentence was more than a quip. It was a statement of control. A reminder that Canada's stability doesn't depend on the social media whims of another country's leader. While others laughed, analysts saw something deeper, a shift in tone. For years, Canadian leaders have danced carefully around Washington's politics, afraid to step on toes. But Joly's remark said what many were thinking. Canada is done walking on eggshells. She proved diplomacy can have wit and courage. And that single moment changed the energy of the room. Then came the two words that made every journalist sit up. Economic nationalism. For decades, the term was treated like a warning label, synonymous with isolationism, protectionism, or outdated politics. But Joly flipped the script. She wasn't talking about shutting Canada off. She was talking about standing Canada up. She reframed it as a call to control the country's destiny, to make sure decisions about Canadian jobs, industries, and technology are made in Canada, not dictated by Washington, Silicon Valley, or the algorithm of some American platform. Her tone was calm but resolute. We can't be naive, she said.
We need to take care of our own economy and our own workers. That's when economic nationalism stopped sounding old-fashioned and started sounding like a new kind of pride. For years, Canada's economic policy has been defensive, reacting to tariffs, supply chain shocks, and sudden U.S. trade shifts. Joly called that era over. She urged Canadians to go on offense. No more waiting for Washington's next move. No more reacting to crises after they hit. She tied her message directly to something former Bank of England Governor Mark Carney had been saying for months. Canada needs an offense economy, one built on strategy and sovereignty. Joly echoed that vision. Rebuild domestic manufacturing, invest in clean technology, and build partnerships that prioritize Canadian interests first. It was more than policy. It was defiance disguised as vision. Trump's tariffs may have backfired, but they also woke up a sleeping giant north of the border. Canada wasn't playing defense anymore. It was calling its own plays. Then came the rallying cry that made workers across Ontario cheer. "I will fight for every single job in the auto sector," Joly declared. "If Ontario doesn't go well, Canada doesn't go well." That wasn't just economics. It was emotion. The auto sector is the backbone of Ontario's economy, and, by extension, the heart of Canada's industrial identity. For years, Trump has promised to bring back American car jobs, often at Canada's expense. Joly flipped that narrative. She made it clear that Canada won't stand by while others claim to make things great again. Canada will fight for its own greatness, on its own terms. Behind her calm delivery was a fierce message. This isn't about rivalry, it's about respect. And respect, she implied, must be earned, not demanded through tariffs or tantrums. Midway through her speech, the tone shifted again. Less policy, more pride. Joly spoke of Canadians as fearless, determined, rule-abiding people who don't need to scream to be strong. "We play by the rules," she said. "We're fearless. We're determined." She described economic sovereignty as more than strategy. It's a mindset. While other nations build walls, Canada builds capacity. While others chase headlines, Canada chases results. Her words redefine what leadership looks like in the modern world. In an era where politics is often about performance, Joly's calm composure became a symbol of authenticity. And in that moment, the audience realized something powerful. Canada doesn't need to shout to be heard. She never said his name. She didn't have to. Every line about economic independence, truth social unpredictability, and fighting for Canadian workers landed like a quiet rebuttal to Trump's style of governance. Trump built his political identity on volume. Joly dismantled it with restraint. Her speech reminded the world that strength isn't measured in decibels. It's measured in direction. And Canada finally has one. It's a direction built on innovation, clean energy, and confidence, not dependency or drama. Her message was simple. The U.S. can shout all at once, but Canada's actions will speak louder. As her speech came to an end, Joly delivered the line that would go viral worldwide. "While others post, Canada builds." The room erupted. It was a masterstroke, short, sharp, and perfectly timed. A direct contrast between performance politics and practical progress. Within hours, clips of that moment were everywhere. Commentators called it Canada's quiet rebellion. Others said it was the start of a new global tone, one that values results over rhetoric. But beyond the viral moment, there was something deeper. Joly wasn't just taking aim at Trump. She was defining what it means to lead in the 21st century, not through dominance, but through discipline. Her speech was more than a clapback. It was a blueprint. By the time the applause faded, one thing was clear. This wasn't the old Canada.
This was a confident, self-reliant nation, ready to lead, not follow. Joly's speech wasn't about rejecting America. It was about redefining the relationship. No longer the polite neighbor waiting for permission, Canada is now the strategic partner building its own path forward. In a world where noise spreads faster than truth, Joly showed that quiet conviction can still shake the room. So maybe this moment wasn't just viral. It was symbolic. Because while others scroll, shout, and post, Canada builds.